Alrighty, gang. My name is KillerGinja1, and welcome back to our Total War Warhammer 3 Legions of Nagash Let's Play. Where we left off last time, Neferata has, of course, bloodied and bruised her horde. She brought them to a fighting standstill out here in the desolation of Drakemore twice. 4.3k casualties. An absolutely insane amount of dead roaming around the lands. We're gonna see if she can't. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. We're gonna see if we can't raise the dead. Unfortunately, no. I think something here. I think the AI is using or the modder is using the Chaos Warband recruitment system, where it's a pool that regenerates a list of units based on how many recruitment buildings you have. That is fine for us. The vampire counts have a better system where they just have, once they march towards a pile of corpses like this one, they have the ability through Raised Dead to recruit a crap ton of units, and the more bodies, the more higher quality the summons can be. But she's going to lick her wounds in Drakemore. We, of course, are not done with the hordes of screaming orcs. Goblins upon goblins mass in the Howling Rock, and we are going to see what their target is going to be. Fortunately for us, they do not have range just yet. Only Shifty does, but that's because he is in marching stance, which gives him an additional 50 movement range. But in in marching stance, you can't attack settlements, so we're safe for right now.
Yes, my son.
We're gonna
Undeath Ascendant.
We're going to maintain our garrison. Hopefully with the help of said garrison, we'll be able to defeat these goblins if they decide to attack us here. We got a skill point for Neferata. We are going to we're going to get that Penumbral Pendulum down real cheap. That there is an insane spell. Unfortunately, she's only got a spell mastery of 100. She does have her Dagger of Jet and her Staff of Pain. So, she's got a few quest items there that are going to keep her kitted up. Alongside that, we have, you know what we might assign her? I'm debating on this. We might assign her the Helm of Discord to give her just that little bit of, okay. But that's a talisman. Okay, so, sorry there, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked. The Helm of Discord will give her 20 more armor, bringing her up to 110, making it so that most enemies won't be able to touch her without armor-piercing damage. And then, of course, with the Helm of Discord ability, for an effective range of 35 meters for 25 seconds, you get minus 24 melee attack and defense. So we're going to give that to her because she has proven that she likes to get stuck in, and she's already been stained with the blood of many a goblin. We're also going to give her a ward save of 18% with the Talisman of Preservation. That way her health pool, which is pretty small for a Legendary Lord, only 4,800, is going to extend the lifespan for quite a bit longer. In terms of enchanted items, we don't really have any to give her, so unfortunately she's going to have an empty slot right there. We got a few ancillaries. I think we're going to get... she still has a unit of Nagash Guard, so I think armor-piercing weapon damage plus 8 might be useful for that. Or we can get her... Ooh, that might be useful. She still has those Doom Knights. I think we'll get her the Banner of Swiftness to give to those knights under her call. Make them a little bit faster. The Banner of Swiftness also attributes Wayfarer, which is a plus 200% acceleration and deceleration ability permanently, so long as she has a Strider. And Strider, of course, meaning that speed and combat penalties caused by terrain are ignored by this unit. So yeah, we definitely want that. Those Doom Riders are going to be the core of this army. Them, the Nagash Guard, and the Skeleton Archers. The rest are sacrificial units we're going to keep on the front line to hold the enemy in place. Those Doom Riders are going to have their work cut out for them, of course, with all the Snotling pump wagons that the enemy has. But hopefully in a settlement battle, that won't be too big of a deal. Now that Neferata is done, we're going to pivot our attention over. Not really much going on in Nagash Guard. We don't have the income to start recruiting or building recruitment buildings. Scarbrand has returned. Of course he has. He's he's becoming the nemesis of this campaign. The Ghoul King and his ally, his constituent Hildebrand von Hall, are going to be facing off against Scarbrand and his garrison in Gorgonzola, if you will. The Khorne faction only has 2 settlements left, Gorgonzola and Stormhenge. Once we eliminate those, we eliminate the threat to our forces in the north, and we'll have a nice, robust buffer zone from our vassal to all the enemies in the north, including these new sets of orcs, and Emmerich, who owns Karak Asgal. He's definitely went through the mountains. Oh man, look at that. He's already made himself a nice little... Oh, if you don't know, the extra decal on the settlement, so like these little flanged wings and the little droplet thing, that's the capital icon. Spite Peak's capital over here for Emmerich. You can see how we have a little bat wings. Morgheim is the Sires of Morcaine, our vassal's capital. Kasabar is the capital of Manfred. Antok is the capital of Volkmar the Grim. Capitals don't really do anything besides calculate diplomacy debuffs for like distance and whatnot. Otherwise, they don't, like in older Total Wars, they do public order penalties. Like if you have a settlement all the way across the world and your capital is in the former site of the Black Pyramid, you're going to have a huge public order debuff to any territory along this region, because the further out you go, the less stable the political infrastructure is, and the more bold your enemies are. But fortunately for us, that's not necessarily a concern. Nagazashar is our capital, and it seems to me like the mod is geared a lot more heavily towards us not owning settlements. Like we can get a three-tier settlement with like resources and whatnot, but in terms of like owning basic settlements, the most amount of income we're going to get is 150. The blast expense is already maxed out. 75 income from that economy and growth building, and 75 income from the settlement itself. So our economy is definitely mitigated. We're going to have to focus mostly on vassalage and pillaging to keep our armies going forward, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean we can't have fun, so we are going to... I think for his army, we are going to get more infantry. But what type is the real question. I think if we get another unit of Nehekaran warriors, that'll round him out nicely. He doesn't really have any mobile troops, but we're going to march Archon down. Set him up next to Manfred von Karstein, maybe. Ooh, okay, that's going to be rough. We don't really have an answer for war wagons. They have flagellants, which fight to the death because they are unbreakable. Halberds are a good anti-large unit, but we don't have any anti-large in our army, aside from maybe Arkan the Black himself. They have a unit of handgunners. They got a lot of artillery, which is going to be unfortunate for us. Warrior Priest, Witch Hunter, and Volkmar himself, which I don't know. Volkmar already has a banishment spell assigned to him. Got a ward save of 25, spell resistance of 40%. So, and he's got the Jade Griffin already, which means he's going to be getting constant replenishment of 0.2% throughout the battle until the healing cap is hit. This is going to be a very nasty engagement down here, especially since Archon doesn't have anything intensive, any units that are really really that great. We're going to give him channeling winds because, of course, our faction is reliant on magical spells. And if we don't have our magical spells, we don't have anything. So we're going to get 15 a turn, but -5 because of local province wins. It seems to me like the game just hates whatever your mage casters are. They don't like giving you winds of magic, so we have to be constantly channeling. In terms of research, still we don't have anything that we don't have. We don't have any research options that aren't that have a paywall to them. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get any extra research in this end turn. I forgot Nagash himself has a skill point. Let's assign him that. We are going to get him Death Magic Incarnate +3 Winds of Magic Power Reserve per turn. So his pot is going to be constantly stacking up. He's going to have a ton of magic saved up. His passive ability, Death Magic Incarnate, is going to give him a heal of 0.54 a second in a regeneration area. It's going to make anyone affected by it unbreakable, and their models cannot die. That's the most important part, because if a model's hit points reach 0, the model itself dies. It plays the dying animation, but if they can't die, that means that their hit points are at 0, but they're still managing to do damage output, which is insane. So, got an effective range of 40 meters for 15 seconds. Affected units, all allies in range, are undead with hit points less than 25%, and leadership is wavering or lower. So any units around him that become sad are going to get hit by this, and are going to get a boon to them, a little extra kick in the pants to be more fighty. That's going to be very useful for us. Fortunately, we haven't reached the point where these Nagash Guard are going to reach critical mass in terms of their morale, but the campaign is still young. We are going to put... we're going to take Nagash out. We're going to have him in channeling stance so he can try and get some Winds of Magic reserve. He's really low on Winds of Magic. Gonna take a bit of attrition, unfortunately, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna start marching him down to Stormhenge as quickly as possible, finish up Khorne, and then march south to take on Volkmar. In case Arcan can't do it, we're gonna end the turn and see what happens.
Expand Sylvania's borders.
Genevieve, of course, is marching north. Gonna go to Morgheim and hopefully start collecting more Tarks. We want her up in Sylvania as well, because Vlad von Karstein is an insane melee legendary lord. Skarbrand already is sallying out, attacking the Ghoul King and his allies. Unfortunately for us, I believe this might be the end of those army stacks. Yes, so Skarbrand is still swinging. He's marching up north. We are going to engage him, hopefully. He's in full march stance. He's out in the open, so that's going to be another battle. Hopefully, if we can reach him, that we can get him overextended and eliminate him for a third time this campaign. Volkmar the Grim is retreating back down south, leaving his garrison settlement open for the conquest. The dwarves are continuing to push north, chasing after Vlad von Karstein in the spine of the World's Edge Mountains. Meanwhile, oh my goodness, this might be it. Oh, as much to my chagrin as it was that Volkmar returned, is just as quickly as he died again. Did you see that? Those factions of the Bloody Hands just came out of nowhere and stomped him, not wanting to give us the kill. We got Kolek Sun Eaters Chaos War bands now marching around in our territory. That's what that purple emblem is. Kolok being a massive dragon ogre. Basically think of a centaur, but with a dragon. And then his top half not being human, but being something else entirely. A truly horrifying, massive structure of death and carnage. Hopefully he doesn't, we don't attract his ire, because Silver Pinnacle is practically defenseless. Alright. So, Manfred is in range of Bagar. Bagar only has 7 units in it. We are going to march with him, hopefully. We're going to march down south with him, hopefully get in range of this settlement to assist with the auto-resolve, just in case Manfred, for whatever reason, doesn't do it. He is on his zombie dragon, so hopefully the auto-resolve will favor that. But yeah, I completely forgot that Volkmar was getting his teeth kicked in by the Bloody Hands faction. That saved us a lot of time and trouble. Those orcs have proven to be a pretty generous neighbor. But the thing with orcs is, if they since this band in particular is savage orcs, savage meaning that they're more of like well, more savage than regular orcs are. They're going to have a desire to take settlements that they believe are of religious significance, one of which is Gorgazan. So we're going to see how that impacts us in this campaign. Now, we're going to put ourselves back in encampment stance. Unfortunately, we're going to just keep losing our Winds of Magic because it's either that or take attrition, and I'm not going to risk being lower than top shelf when it comes to Nagash himself. We are going to march down south, get in range. Scarbrand, of course, is either going to run away from us or he's going to bring his legions up. I think they're in range to reinforce, so we might see...
Should I take stock of your worth?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Skullcan's being the only ranged unit in the enemy army. It's a mobile chariot artillery unit. Yeah, spooky music cue. Pretty nasty. Lots of heroes in this. Fortunately for us, we got a lot of armor piercing and anti-large, but and Hamslanda and Oftos are going to be able to take out a lot of those heroes. But I mean, man, we are definitely going to have a our work cut out for us. Meanwhile, in the north, let's check on Neferata. She's being assailed by Sneak Throat Cruncher. Not exactly the best thing ever. I think... Oh, they're taking attrition. Very good. Except for the main settlement. I'm going to try and wait this wall out. I really don't want...
No.
I really don't want this wall army to be in there. Just more bodies for the slaughter. We're going to put ourselves in ambush stance. If you hover over a terrain piece, it'll tell you what the base ambush success chance is. I just do not want Neferata to be stuck in the settlement, because if she loses a defensive battle in a settlement, she's eliminated. Which, for us, she's a legendary lord, so she will come back, but we do not want to lose Redfish Blue, especially since he is not immortal, I believe. And losing a Morghast Archai would be an absolutely devastating blow to our forces. We're going to end turn again. Don't have any money to build anything, and our research has not improved. Genevieve is continuing to march north. Fortunately for us, Kadan Posner is taking up the mantle for his liege lord. Burned Hellstein as well is just south, ready to provide us support. Meanwhile, where's Scarbrand going? He's going to march into the muddy marshes because that's the way he likes to roll. Alrighty then. So that's Emmerich. He just declared war on us, so that's going to add an extra flavor to all of this. We are more powerful than him, but that doesn't mean that Nagashishar is safe. His armies are completely surrounding us, of course. He is at war with Drazoath, the Ashen of the Legion of Asgore, but they are nowhere to be seen, so all of his ire is going to land directly on us. We have plenty of settlements in range that he can attack. This is, we're going to call on the Drakenhof Conclave and our vassals as well. He's already got an army set up recruiting in Bitter Bay. This might be a chance for us to claim that full province. Thorgrim Grudgebearer and his armies are marching to Grashnik's lair. They're going to take that down. That's 4 army stacks. Evidently, they don't think they're strong enough to take the settlement in the main opening. Orcs. Orcs have come to finish off Volkmar the Grim. We are going to deny the attack. We're going to let them take the settlement. Unfortunately for us, we lost a settlement, and a very good one. That gemstone mine would have been great for Manfred and for us eventually, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. We do not have the ability to fight another war, including orcs. But that eliminates an enemy on the campaign map. One of many, I'm afraid. Manfred von Karstein is going to march towards... Oh, and there he is. There's Kolek. I wonder where he's going. Sneaky Throat Crunch is moving away. And Skulk is stacking up. I wonder if their armies are going to march out away towards us. Nope, they're going to continue to sit on their settlement. Just enjoying that vampire attrition. The Hunters of Coronis have declared war on the Drakenhof Conclave. Not good. Those are Wood Elves in our lines, behind the wire. Not a very good thing for us. The Cult of Sigmar has been annihilated, which means we now have the Mortarg of Night. Manfred von Karstein's technology tree is now ours for the taking. Excuse me. Let me get a little sip of my water here before we start. Nagash is going to keep chasing Scarbrand, I believe. Or no, he's going to be taking a lot of attrition in the marshes and our vampire lands. We're going to have him focus on the enemy settlements. We're going to keep knocking in the Khorne worshippers. Try and kill them as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, yeah, those wandering armies are going to be a pain in the rear end. We're going to quickly rush Archon back to Numas to sally for the defense. We have a lot of orcs around us. We can do it right now. We can fortunately do Dominion over Divinity. Only going to cost 1 Warpstone. We have plenty. It's going to increase our casualty replenishment rate, Vampiric Corruption for us and our Nagash's enemies, which is going to be useful for us because anything that's in 100% Vampire Corruption is going to take attrition besides vampires, and we're not at war with vampires. But the big one, income from all buildings plus 25%. This is going to last for 10 turns. It's going to keep us in the green. Look at that, making 1,000 a turn now. Very, very useful spell right there. With that, we are going to continue our march. We're gonna group ourselves up in Numas. Get ready to start fighting Thalandor and his High Elves. A lot of ranged units, which is unfortunate because we don't really have a range contingent that can counter them. They're very dangerous. They're one of the first range factions that we had to fight. We're going to chill in Nagash's Guard. We are going to start marching south. Neferata is going to put herself in ambush stance, and she is going to set herself up for a...
Strike out.
Hopefully, if the enemy decides to move up north, we'll be able to catch them. They tend to follow the roads. We're going to make sure that we protect Desolation of Dragmore and the Blasted Expanse here. Meanwhile, she has just enough money to recruit her Tier 3 Horde building, which is going to give her some additional income and unlock the final upgrade for the Load of Bones, which is going to increase the upkeep by a factor of 200 again. Very useful for us. We are going to research Manfred von Karstein as well. Going to get him on side. Hopefully his settlements too. We'll see the results of that in this end turn.
Sire.
Skarbrand is marching back west. He's going to continue to sack our vassals. Looks like we are in for a treat. Skarbrand's defensive forces on his territory are now going to attack us. It says valiant defeat with casualties high. I think we can do better. This is going to be an open field battle with a bunch of rocks in the middle. We are going to see how we do with the Endless Tomb. Stay tuned for that. Alrighty, another sally. We are going to have our heroes answer this reinforcement army here on the left side. We're going to start scheduling. We're going to schedule an appointment with the Khorne in 4 to 5 business days. Hopefully they decide not to post an appointment. They're going to wait for their reinforcements. It's going to give us enough time to organize ourselves. We're going to set up our halberds in this choke point. Hopefully they force a few units through here. Hopefully. We're going to send our other halberd units on the right flank with Snippy. They're going to hold this wide expanse here, but we have that endless crypt to assist us. Meanwhile, our bone throwers are going to try and do what they can. They're not going to be that useful this battle, unfortunately, the way we position them. They're going to try and do what they can to bombard the enemy as they breach our line, and breach our line they will. We are going to have our bone golems hold the center with our Nagash guard on the flanks to make sure the enemy does not get around us. Nagash is going to be the floater. He's going to be providing support wherever he can, where he sees fit. And just look at this environment, man. I mean, of course, this time he hasn't crashed the Black Pyramid into anything, fortunately. But man, oh man. Our empire is very, very feeble right now. I'm thinking that if we have a situation where we have collapsed utterly, we're just going to dump all of our remaining cash into Nagash and move him north to where the hostiles are a little less formidable. You know, make him a wandering band of death, because unfortunately for us, I don't know, the way this campaign is going, we're going to be stuck in this little desert expanse. I want to say another word, but I'm not going to, for a long time, and I think Nagash has bigger and better things. There's that Hellforged Bellowers, that skull cannon. It is a motorcycle or a tricycle. There's like 5 wheels on the front, so we can't really tell. And it shoots flaming lava out of the gun hole. They have a lot of heroes, a lot of units that are going to be able to do a lot of damage very quickly. They got Scar Bloodwrath back. This isn't the last time we saw him. Such a creepy little fella there. But he is gearing up with his bloodletters, and the first shots have already been fired. Those bloodletters of Khorne are going to get hit. They already have their doggos attacking our flank. Fortunately for us, our Nagash guard are made of sterner stuff. We have our Morghast of Arkai keeping the enemy from flanking us. Meanwhile, our White King is also going to focus on taking out the enemy forces as well. We're going to have our Morghast of Arkai. We're going to try and keep all these units stationed right here to hold this flank, keep them from reaching our back line. Meanwhile, the enemy has joined us. They are going to charge into our halberds, an excellent exchange for us. We've already summoned that Endless Tomb and it's done its job. They already sent out a wave of skeleton forces from the ground. They're gonna be providing a lot of aid over here, holding the enemy in place on the right flank. Snippy himself getting stuck in, stabbing the doggos where he can. Meanwhile, on this left flank, we got more battles joined. We're gonna send Nagash over here as our floater. He's gonna need all the help he can get. Nagash guard are now engaged with the bloodletters of Khorne. Who is going to win? Is it going to be great-handed swords? And we just shot a fist at that one hero there, Barrowin the Fang in the Night. We're going to try and hold him in place here. He's going for artillery, a very annoying move. We're going to have Nagash beat him back, and we're going to have our Skeleton Reapers provide support. We're going to use the siphoning on him to do what damage we can while healing our units. Our Nagash Guard have already taken a tremendous amount of damage from Skillia. Not the last time we've seen him, unfortunately, and he is going to be providing an absolute headache. This unit of Nagash Guard is going to have a hard time, a long fight ahead of himself. Meanwhile, the Bone Golems are holding the center, just ripping apart these blood letters of Khorne. Their doggos are going to keep cycle charging us to no avail. These units here on the left flank are going to be holding strong, and they're going to come back around and start mashing up the center. This is absolute pandemonium. Fortunately for us, our area of effect attacks with the Bone Golems are going to prove to be useful. Nagash Guard are barely holding on. Their formation is crumbling. So many heroes in the way. We summoned a unit of Black Knights to hold the Cultist of Khorne back, and we're going to send Nagash in to see to Skillia himself. Now, Nagash himself has a lot of debuffs in his arsenal. A lot of things he can do to hurt the enemy. One of which being that sword of his. Let me see if I can't find it real quick. The Harbinger. No, that's his summon hero's ability. His spell intensity is already at 195%. There we go. The Great Blade of Death is going to provide regeneration to Nagash. It's going to increase his base weapon and armor piercing damage up to 60% the longer he is in melee or the more spells he casts. Meanwhile, our other unit, Nagash Guard, are having a bad time. We're going to use a Breath of Darkness to bring that unit almost all the way back up to half strength, trying to keep these units in the battle as long as possible. Unfortunately, this one over here has 26 boys left. They are not doing too well, but with their leader next to them, with their Lord of Undeath, they're going to try and hold on as long as they can, and we're going to see if they can. Meanwhile, their heroes are going to continue to attack our Bone Throwers. Our Skeleton Reapers are going to start smacking them around. They don't give a crap. Meanwhile, on the right flank, the enemy is almost entirely defeated. We have overwhelming numbers. We're going to try and start wrapping those boys around the flank to keep them on guard. Our heroes, of course, have managed to deal with this flank in the rear. We're going to wrap them up and try and move them as quickly north as we can. A lot of damage was done. Those blood layers did a lot to us. And army losses now are going to impact those demons. They're going to be very sad. They're going to want to take a nap, go back to wherever they came from. Our Nagash Guard are just struggling with these heroes. They do not have enough damage. If they were the Halberd variant, they would be able to see these enemies off, but unfortunately for us, that's not the case. These boys are going to have to hold on what they can. We managed to pop some healing on those units. Nagash's spell, what spell is that? The Master of Arcane, I believe? Or is that the... I can't remember. He's got so many. It's just insane. He has an ability that gives our units who are pretty low on morale and health the chance to recuperate. But those Nagash Guard, both regiments, bloodied, beaten, bruised, and almost dead, 11 men standing from the remaining 160 are going to live to fight another battle. And those Bone Throwers attacked by that hero have managed to survive as well. Now, army losses have taken effect. All the enemy has left are heroes running away from the battlefield. We're going to let them flee back to their masters, and that Hellforge is what we're waiting on to collapse. A brutal battle, an absolutely horrendous battle. We have definitely taken a bloody nose from Khorne, but we have seen them off, and fortunately that's going to prove useful. Open up that western flank now to Nagash and those remaining territories of Scarbrands. We're going to see the consequences of that on the campaign map. Alrighty, gang, a very close battle indeed. Lots of heroes, lots of fronts. Very hard for us to maintain our clairvoyance in that battle. Very, very difficult to keep track of everything, but we managed. Somehow we managed to save that unit of Nagash Guard that was almost about to capitulate, along with that Bone Thrower. They will live to fight another day, fortunately. Our Von Steel, the deal with Steel, he almost perished in that battle. We're gonna get the Winds of Magic Power Reserve for humiliating captives. We need that magic as much as possible. The magic spells we were casting in that battle were critical with keeping ourselves alive. We're going to, it's getting a little bit late. We're going to wrap up here after this turn. Already, Emmerich's armies are marching towards us. We got Skaven to deal with. Is that a... No way. That's not, Clan Scryer, is that I just saw on the screen for a moment there? Bloody Hands is marching a little dangerously close to the Black Pyramid of Nagash. We're going to pretend that we didn't see that because we cannot afford to fight even more orcs. Manfred's going to sally out and attack one of those wandering armies. Fortunately, cleaning up the map, that'll be useful for us. I don't know if it was a good call to annex Manfred because we're going to lose a lot of his capabilities. We might have wanted to hold on to that. Kolek is marching through the mountains. Is he at war with the dwarves? I do not know. But he's not bringing it up to us. Alright, so now we have a decisive defeat ahead of us. Oh, that is so many goblins. They got a lot of heroes too, unfortunately for us, and some Mangler squids. If you don't know, Mangler squids are a very annoying unit that are unbreakable, immune to psychology, and when they die, they do an explosion attack that pretty much annihilates the whole unit, honestly. Very lethal stuff. They have a lot of melee troops, not a whole lot of ranged, fortunately for us. We're going to take a look at this battle. We have our backs to the wall. Will Neferata be able to hold? That is the question. We will see that on the next episode. Thank you all so much for watching and stay tuned.